Hello, my name is w.i.t.c.h.aholic and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing part 3 of which doesn't make sense. But first I have to say, I finally got a subscriber. Thank you, whoever you are. I love to know your channel name. And people, if you like this, please subscribe, like, comment. Okay, now to part 3. Last time we left when they were at the Brown's house. So again, I'm skipping a bit because I'm only doing the part that doesn't make sense. So here they're at the caves and they're making astral drops. And again, this doesn't really get explained, like how do they know they could do that and stuff. The astral traps themselves doesn't really get explained, like where do they come from? You know, especially as we see later on, we see the more they get used, they get like feelings and things, and we see Wills is in this like black space and she's crying because she I guess she knows that like she's stuck there until she's cold again. So like I would really like to know, about how all this works. Okay, and then we see Will's got messed up because she was afraid that, she'll be replaced. So that's gonna be some funny stuff later. Okay, now they're in the cave. Oh, they're going through the portal. And since there's water, Will makes a bubble. And then, but when they come out through a cave and this boy's a fishbowl. That, really, that I have a lot of questions about. Like, that does not make sense at all. Like, why is there a portal in a fishbowl? Like, how exactly does that work? How do these portals decide where to end up and stuff? Okay. And of course they shrunk because it's rather in the fishbowl, but when they came out, they were regular size. So many questions. I mean, it is funny, but still. And then, of course, there's Kandrakar, and of course, Dorkol and Tibor are just watching them. And I think Tibor, he says that, they see the astral drops, and someone says, you shouldn't admire them. They're supposed to close the portals, not go through. And then this other guy says, should we punish them? Hello? I mean, again, I love this comics next to Harry Potter. It's my favorite thing, but they gave these girls powers to protect the universe. They didn't give them any, like, rules and things, but now they're just watching them, and now, someone's asking if they should punish them because they went through and they're not supposed to, but no one told them they're not supposed to go through. Never mind that if they didn't go through when they just kept on closing the portals, that means the people of Meridian would suffer, right? But aren't guardians supposed to protect everyone? This just doesn't make sense. Now we see Elion, showing Tarani, who's trapped in a bubble, visions of her astral drop. And again, besides, of course, like, why does she think they're their enemy? She's capturing her, trapped her in a bubble, and is trying to convince her that her friends don't care about her and that they replaced her. Why? Can someone who speaks Italian please look up the authors on social media and ask them these questions? This just doesn't make sense. Why is she doing this? Okay, now there's the funny part about Will's astral drop. I'm gonna skip it. Though, by the way, we see Matt come to bring her the dormouse. And again, apparently dormice are in Europe and South America, so... But there are some things that suggest Heatherfield is in North America, so... I guess in a reboot, that should be changed to maybe a squirrel or something. Okay, and we see more about Eliana with Cedric. Oh, and the girls are being chased because the storekeeper recognized Irma. And then they cross through like this wall of shadows to the Infinite City. And they meet Mrs. Rudolph. She's explaining a bit. Oh, and of course this brings to mind just so many questions about the Infinite City. Like, who built it? Like, is it really infinite? And like, just how do people know about it? How do they know everything? Like, are there maps? Because it is infinite, but I guess the rebels, they know the passages and stuff. And like, again, that shadow thing, like... But we see Cedric and Vathic's trying to like break the passage with energy blasts. So, like, how does this work? Oh, by the way, I thought Vathic didn't have any powers, and now he's using energy blasts? That needs to be explained. So they're going through. Okay, so then they reveal themselves to Cedric, so we'll take them to Tyranny. And so he's trapped them in magical bubbles, which, again, something we don't really get an explanation of Cedric's powers. He knows keep on showing new powers like this bubbles. And I just want to have a clear list of his powers, everyone else's powers. So, let's see, brings them to Phobos' garden. And we see the Whisperers, or Murmurers, whatever you want to call them. Again, first of all, I guess there's like, they're using a back entrance or something. And again, this isn't really explained. Like, they're called Phobos' eyes and voices. But it looks like they're just staying in the garden, so how does that work? And again, we learn later, like, they're made from flowers into these, like, flower people. Again, like, how? And then, of course, they convince Tarani that they're real. And so, she burns the bubble with fire, and they escape. And let's see, that's the end. The end, pretty much. Okay, I'm gonna go to the fifth one. I know that one has a lot of questions. Okay. By the way, again, I don't have video editing software so far, so I'm not putting in pictures, but I know that it does make things more interesting when there's pictures, so please, if it really makes the videos more interesting for you, tell me, and I'll get video editing software and I'll try. But then, of course, it'll probably take me longer to post these, so I love to hear anyone's input on this. So now Will's dormouse ate too many cookies, so she's taking him to the pet store. And I think this is the first time we see Mr. Olson. And by the way, also again, we see much later in Arc 7 that apparently Matt is from Cantercar. But like we see his grandfather and we see his mother later on for a bit. So like, do they know about the Guardians? Like what exactly is going on here? Also like the pet store seems to be pretty popular, but like Mr. Olson and Matt are the only workers, and then later on Will works part-time, but like how do they manage it? You know? So now, because Irma's astral trap said yes to a date with Martin, now she's going on a date with him to the museum, and of course they see someone from Meridian, because the portal is in the painting. But first of all, how does this person know that Irma's a guardian? Like, can he feel the magic? Again, like, how do these portals work? They just pop up in any random place? By the way, what happened to the person? I guess he went back through the painting. By the way, this person also looks much more like a lizard. So again, this is something not really explained. Like the people of Metamor. Like, we see there's shapeshifters, and there's a few people who look like regular humans. Then there's shapeshifters like Cedric. This guy who looks mostly like a lizard. There's Mrs. Rudolph, and other people. Again, they look pretty alien. And so, again, this is not really explained. Again, I would like to know just a bit more. So now they broke into the museum. And now they see Elion in the picture. And then she appears behind them and traps them in a bubble. And again, just why? This is like the third time already. She tried to trap them all. Why? Even if she's convinced her friends are the enemy, like to try to trap them and presumably take the heart of Cantercar, like just why? And it's not like the cartoon where, they knew about her being the princess and they didn't tell her. She just heard the story from Cedric and decided that, okay, her friends are the enemies and they need to capture them. Just what? Like, seriously, I need an explanation. This is also why I want a reboot. So, this would make things, because it would make things make sense. Well, if they reboot it, I don't know what they would, though it depends, because, sometimes reboots, they don't always fix everything, but this is really why I want the reboot, and I hope we could like pester Disney to reboot this and reboot it well, keeping it like the comics, but answering all these questions. And so now she sends them Oh, so here she tells the story that I guess Cedric told her that her parents disappeared and her brother asked someone to take care of her, but they kidnapped her and opened a portal. So here she said that she was taken away from a real family, lied to. So again, it's understandable that she thinks that. But again, Phobos and Cedric are the only ones who told her that. And like there is a freaking rebellion, so shouldn't she be a little more suspicious? And again, she says that Cedric told her the Guardians are Meridian's enemy, but again, that's just what he said. Like, she didn't even like ask her friends for their side of the story. And like, besides, of course, she was friends with most of these girls for years. Like, again, does she even know what Guardians are supposed to do? And like, again, even if she thinks they're the enemy, to try to kill them like she did in the first two ones. So here she says, because of this veil, the people of Meridian had to live in agony and fear without a way out of the prison. But so if the veil was lifted, so what? They're gonna go to another planet? Like what she think is going to happen? Like that is their planet. Like, so what? Like she thinks this veil is so evil, but like we don't know anything about what she thinks. If the veil wasn't there, then they're free. Like, and as far as again, like she says it's a prison, but like they're on their planet. Like, also again, people are suffering because of her brother, first of all. So what? She thinks that Meridian is just such a horrible planet to live on by itself? What? This does not make sense. And then she says, oh, that her brother had to search for her for years. And that, her life has changed and that's why she hates them. But again, they had nothing to do with this. They were chosen as guardians, but they don't know anything about Meridian really. And about the people, the history. They just know that as guardians, they have to protect the veil. They didn't have anything to do with Elion being taken to Meridian. Like, oh my god. This does not make sense. And then, of course, she just she transports the girls into the painting. And presumably she meant to trap them there forever. I could just rant about this. It's one thing to be like confused, but to just blame everything on the girls when they don't know a lot about anything also. Ugh. And so we see in the picture, apparently their powers don't work. Again, how? Like also, it looks like the heart's supposed to be the super powerful object, but doesn't work in a painting. Even if Phobos cursed it, like, isn't the heart more powerful than him? So many questions. And they meet Elias. Okay. Again, I'm not sure how much time I have because I'm using my phone, so I'm gonna end it here. But see it another time. Please comment if you like this. I'd love to know what you think of all these questions, how you think it should be rebooted. And please, maybe we could persuade Disney to reboot this and do it well. Again, I'll post at least once a week, but soon it's gonna be the holidays, the Jewish holidays, so I don't know what my schedule will be. And please subscribe. Okay, I'll see you later.